Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Emily who had just started a new job in the city. She was excited to begin this new chapter in her life, but she was also feeling a bit overwhelmed by the fast-paced lifestyle of the city. She missed the simplicity of her hometown and the feeling of being surrounded by nature. One day, while walking to work, Emily noticed a park that she had never seen before. Intrigued, she decided to explore it on her lunch break. As she walked along the paths, she stumbled upon a small, hidden garden filled with flowers and plants of all kinds. It was a quiet oasis in the midst of the bustling city. As she sat down on a bench to take in the beauty of the garden, she noticed a man walking towards her. He was tall, with piercing blue eyes and a warm smile. They struck up a conversation, and before they knew it, hours had passed. The man's name was Daniel, and he was a photographer who loved to capture the beauty of the world around him. He shared his photos with Emily, and they were amazed by how he was able to capture the essence of every place he visited. Over the next few weeks, Emily and Daniel became inseparable. They spent every free moment exploring the city together, taking photos and sharing their thoughts and dreams. They had an instant connection, and it was clear to both of them that they had found something special. One day, as they were walking through the park, Daniel stopped Emily and took her hand. "I know we haven't known each other for very long," he said, "but I feel like I've known you my whole life. I don't want to spend another moment without you. Will you be mine?" Emily's heart swelled with joy. She knew that Daniel was the one she had been waiting for. "Yes," she said, tears streaming down her face. "I will be yours." From that moment on, their love only grew stronger. They continued to explore the city together, but they also made time to travel to new places and experience new adventures. They fell deeper and deeper in love with each passing day. One day, as they were sitting in the same hidden garden where they had first met, Daniel got down on one knee and asked Emily to marry him. She said yes, and they hugged each other tightly, both of them crying tears of joy. They had a beautiful wedding surrounded by their family and friends, and they continued to travel and explore the world together. But no matter where they went, they always made time to visit that little hidden garden where they had fallen in love. Years later, Emily and Daniel sat on the same bench where they had first met, holding hands and watching the sunset. They looked back on their lives together and marveled at how much they had accomplished and how much they had loved. "I'm so grateful we met in that hidden garden," Emily said, snuggling closer to Daniel. "It changed my life forever." Daniel smiled and kissed her forehead. "Me too," he said. "I'll always be thankful for this little piece of heaven that brought us together." Emily and Daniel had been dating for several months, and their love only continued to grow stronger with each passing day. They explored the city together, took long walks, and shared their passions for photography and nature. Every moment they spent together felt like a fairy tale. As the months went on, they began to share their deepest hopes and dreams with each other. Emily had always wanted to write a book, and Daniel encouraged her to pursue her dream. He even offered to take her on a trip to a remote cabin in the mountains, where she could write without any distractions. The trip was magical. They hiked through the woods, cooked meals together, and watched the stars at night. Emily felt more inspired than ever before, and she wrote for hours on end. Daniel would take breaks from his own photography to read what she had written, and he was always amazed by her talent. When they returned from their trip, Emily was determined to finish her book. Daniel supported her every step of the way, and she finally published it to rave reviews. Emily felt like she could conquer the world with Daniel by her side. As their love grew stronger, they knew they wanted to spend the rest of their lives together. One evening, as they were walking through the city, Daniel took Emily to a rooftop garden where he had set up a romantic dinner. As they watched the sunset over the city, he got down on one knee and proposed. Emily was overjoyed, and she said yes without hesitation. They shared a passionate kiss, surrounded by the city lights and the sounds of the bustling streets below. They began to plan their wedding, and they wanted it to be a celebration of their love and their connection to nature. They decided to have their ceremony in that same hidden garden where they had first met. They decorated it with flowers and candles, and it felt like a secret oasis in the midst of the city. Their wedding was beautiful, and they were surrounded by their family and friends. Emily wore a simple white dress, and Daniel had a flower in his lapel. They exchanged vows, promising to love each other forever, and they sealed their commitment with a kiss. After the wedding, they embarked on a journey of exploration and adventure. They traveled to exotic places, taking photos and experiencing new cultures. They volunteered together, helping to preserve natural habitats and protect wildlife. And they continued to write and photograph, inspiring each other and the world around them. Years later, As they sat on the same bench where they had first met, Emily leaned her head on Daniel's shoulder. They watched the sunset together, feeling grateful for all the adventures they had shared. "I can't believe how lucky I am," Emily said, gazing up at Daniel. "I never thought I'd find someone who understood me so completely." Daniel smiled and took her hand. "I'm the lucky one," he said. "I never thought I'd find someone who was so passionate about life and love." They hugged each other tightly, knowing that their love would continue to flourish for all eternity. As the stars began to twinkle in the sky, they closed their eyes and whispered je t'aime to each other, feeling the magic of the city and the power of their love. As the years went by, Emily and Daniel's love continued to grow deeper and stronger. They faced challenges together, but their commitment to each other only grew stronger with each obstacle they overcame. They started a family and raised their children with love and respect, always making time for adventures and exploration. They taught them about the beauty of nature and the importance of compassion and kindness, and they continued to inspire each other, writing and photographing and exploring the world together. But as they reached their golden years, they faced their greatest challenge yet. Daniel was diagnosed with a terminal illness, and Emily knew that their time together was limited. They spent every moment together, savoring the precious time they had left. On their last day together, they sat in the garden where they had first met, surrounded by the beauty of nature. Emily held Daniel's hand, tears streaming down her face. "I don't know how I'll live without you," she whispered, her voice choked with emotion. Daniel smiled weakly, his eyes bright with love. "You'll always have me with you," he said. "Our love will never die." They shared a tender kiss, and Emily felt the power of their love coursing through her veins. She knew that Daniel was right. Their love would always live on, even after he was gone. As Daniel slipped away, Emily felt her heart break into a million pieces. But she knew that their love would never truly die. She would carry it with her always, in her memories, in her heart, and in the words they had written together. In the years that followed, Emily dedicated her life to preserving the beauty of nature and sharing the power of love through her writing. She wrote books and articles that inspired millions, and she became a champion of conservation and animal rights. And every year on the anniversary of Daniel's passing, she returned to the garden where they had first met. She would sit on the bench they had shared, surrounded by the beauty of nature, and feel his presence beside her. She knew that their love would always be with her, guiding her on her journey and reminding her of the power of love and the beauty of life.